Alright, welcome one, welcome all, bienvenue. I'm gonna do, there's two cameras, so I'm gonna do the voice in both French and English for this unboxing. It's mostly testing today. You have free TTS if you get a user either in YouTube, Twitch, or Mixer. You should be able to speak in between each platform, and you should hear your text if you log on. So on Twitch, it's a user BERNARDL31, and on Mixer, it should be the same, I believe. So if you're not sure, normally try to get the information before next time, and you're going to be able to use TTS, free TTS, also here on YouTube. Okay, so the angles are a little bit weird, like I say, because we've got top camera and the second, the alpha camera on the bottom and the Bravo camera on top. Okay, donc si vous avez un compte dans Twitch ou dans Mixer, vous pouvez aussi parler directement sur le text-to-speech en anglais, mais vous pouvez aussi parler en français directement si vous avez un compte soit sur YouTube ou les autres plateformes. Juste à vous informer pour la prochaine fois. Okay, so this unboxing is a pretty big box. I was not expecting it to be so big. It's a part. I'm not sure if you've seen the other videos in the recommendations that I made for the event, for this event. So if you watch them, you might have an idea for what item the parts are for. So this was something that was fairly quick as a transport. Okay, ça a été livré assez rapidement, surprenant un peu, mais ça provient du Canada, so it was from inside of Canada, and it was fairly quick. Okay, so if we look at the box from UPS, we got a little bit of a scratch here. The box has been a little bit crumpled, but nothing too serious, especially if it's as big of a box. It should not be a problem. Okay, so just gonna make sure that the TTS is working. I'm gonna send a little test. Okay, so that should be good. All right, so let's have a look. Ok, fait que c'est ça, donc le texte à voix est fonctionnel. Si jamais il y en a qui veulent l'essayer. On va vérifier si vous avez regardé les autres vidéos. If you watch the other videos, vous avez peut-être une idée pour quel item cette pièce devrait aller. Really? Okay, let me check. I doubt that is true, but I'm gonna check directly on the, because I see on the camera. Let me check on YouTube. Oh, you're right. Okay, that's special because I see on the camera here. Okay, so I might just do something very quickly. I'm gonna go in the editor. I'm gonna change screen position. Let's see if that changed anything. So that's another reason why I use two cameras in case there's something going wrong with the Streamlabs. Okay, so now it's all black. We'll try the screen and so camera on stream, and we'll hide the desktop. See if that works. Give it a few seconds to refresh. Okay, great. So thanks, Jack. Okay, let me just put back the free TTS.
Welcome, Streamlabs. Bienvenue.
Right, so hopefully this is better. Not sure if you see your text on the screen, but I do here on this screen. So we'll have to make some adjustments eventually. Okay, so like I said, the only thing I notice pretty much on this delivery is this bump. Okay, see.
Bienvenue. This is what the user said, whose name is Jack Reacher. Oh, that is a big box.
Yeah. Indeed, like I was saying in the intro before, it's a rather big box for what I'm expecting. So that's why I'm writing in the title that it is either the part that I've said was needed, or it's a hoax that they did to me. So we'll see once we open it. And that's partly why I do those videos, in case there's some hoax or something wrong when I open the box. They're gonna have it on video proof, so I can always show them what happened from inside the item without having it opened pre-recording. Ok, donc comme Jack disait, la vidéo est à l'envers, donc désolé pour ça. Et puis c'est ça, c'est une grosse boîte parce que je sais pas si c'est une blague qu'ils me font ou si c'est le morceau qui est nécessaire. Ok, so we'll head back to the unboxing. That was very helpful. Thanks, Jack. I'm doing both version in French and English, so that's why sometimes you can't understand. I'm just basically saying the same thing in both languages, in French and English. And also this is testing. Okay, c'est surtout un test que je fais présentement. It was hope. Yeah, I'm more afraid that there might be a spider, a tarantula, or a snake, but I think I would have had a hint if it was the case. So we'll see, maybe. It will always happen. Alright. So, okay, so that actually is the size of a snake, but it's pretty much the part that I was hoping for. Let's see if it's the writings I'm hopeful for. So Jack, I'm not sure if you know from the other videos, what this could be. And by the way, if there's a delay, it's a little bit normal.
User said, whose name is Bernard. Welcome, Jack Reacher. Bienvenue. This is what the name is Bernard. Welcome Jack Reacher, asterisk bienvenue. This is what the user said, whose name is Bernard. Welcome Jack Reacher, asterisk bienvenue.
I guess if there's a delay with the video, it's because I'm restreaming. Il y a peut-être un petit délai vu que je fais plusieurs posts en même temps. I'm doing many channels at the same time. Could add some a little bit. And I'm not sure if you have a hint of what that could be, Jack. That's a part with the two items mostly that I did, the two videos that I did. C'était un morceau que j'attends depuis pas très longtemps. Ça a été rapide pour la livraison, c'est excellent. So it's well packed. And I'm hopeful that the descriptions will be better than what the original one was. Otherwise,
What the user said, whose name is Jack Reacher. Bernie, it is dark and we can't see your pretty unboxing table.
thanks, Jack. I'm gonna change the lighting to see. Okay, so this lighting is a little less natural, so it's going to probably show a different color, but it doesn't really matter for this item. Wow, strange. They've sent a bent. That's really odd. I don't know if you can see this. It's actually shipping taped the part, so it's wrongly made. And it says, I don't know if you can see here, it says the same thing, 2017-06. Donc, c'est un item qui est défectueux, ou en tout cas qui est mal assemblé. Il y a un morceau qui est croche. This should be straight. So, it's a hoax. They've hoaxed me again. That is so surprising. No, you can't play the flute with that. That's a good guess. It's something that you replace gas with. Instead of, à la place d'utiliser de l'essence. Ok, donc c'est ça. Ici c'est indiqué année 2017. 6e mois, et le morceau il croche. C'est envoyé collé avec du papier, je sais pas trop. I'm not sure if I'm gonna work with it to try to fix it myself or call the guy right away and see what he wants to do, because this is one of this item is supposed to add range. I don't know if you can hear. There's even a piece that seems to be loose in here. Il y a un morceau qui est loose dedans. So yeah, I'm gonna give you more.
This is what the user said, whose name is Jack Reacher. Have they scammed you?
Yep. That's the third time actually. It's the third time, but I mean, it's how would I say that? It's unexpected. I was expecting on the items, most of the items that I've unboxed for you have been items that I was expecting might have, you know, issues. That's why they sell it the way they do. And for instance, the Apple, the 10-inch Apple Air 1 that I had ordered, it worked good, but there were problems on it. I had to fix it, repair a few things. The screen was loose. I had to do a few work on it. So eventually, after doing everything on it, it worked fine. But was it worth it? That's a different story. For me, it was, but for somebody who was not too capable of fixing and being lucky with certain aspects of the items, it would not have been a good idea to do so. So yeah, that's why I'm expecting this kind of issues, but not, you know, not as bad as this. This is clearly not fixed properly. It should be very straight, and obviously they did something here with not masking tape, but shipping tape. That's absolutely unacceptable as far as quality goes. Donc c'est ça, ils ont mis d'espèces de collants, une espèce de collant de transport pour tenir un morceau qui est pas droit. Le morceau devrait être en ligne droite. So yeah, what I'm gonna do probably is I'm gonna send them the footage right away, but I'm probably gonna work. So if you want to wait, it's your choice, or you can come back a little bit later. I'm gonna keep the stream going. I'm gonna send them the information from the B camera, which is from the Alpha camera, which is the iPhone 4S, and we'll see what they reply on the message, and we'll try to fix it online live. I'll try to work on this, see if I can do something with the battery, at least getting it charged. Fait que je vais essayer de travailler sur la pile pour qu'elle soit capable de charger. Et surtout, ce qui m'inquiète, c'est les petits morceaux de loose. I'm mostly worried about the loose pieces, because if it's a metal part, if it shorts the batteries inside, it could cause certain issues. So, like I said, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go send the pictures to the sender and see what he has to say. Won't be long.
This is what the user said, whose name is Jack Reacher. So next is package fixing stream.
Okay, sorry, I heard you say something. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure if I'm gonna really be able to fix this, because it seems like they've put too much stuff for it to fit. So I'm guessing either I need to cut some wires or maybe fix the outside, and especially the rattling is worrying me a little bit, so I might have to check out what's loose in there. Okay, so I'm gonna keep sending the message and see if they reply to us within the stream. All right, so I'm gonna. Oh, never mind. The TTS was already off because I was not on the battery. Ok, so I'm just gonna put the free TTS on hold. For now, je vais mettre le voix à texte sur pause. Et puis je vais prendre des photos de ça pour envoyer le texte. So I'm gonna take pictures to send to the reseller. Alright, so it seems I'll be able to transfer the message from here. Que je pense que je vais être capable d'envoyer les photos directement d'ici. Je sais pas exactement ce que ça fait là. So this is eBay's picture attached to a message. See the black squares? So something is wrong with their message center also. That's so strange. Vraiment étrange leur système défectueux. Bon, on va les supprimer. I'm gonna delete those pictures. At least one worked. I'm gonna try to upload the others. Maybe it's a question of resolution, but their app doesn't say. So I'm gonna take new pictures for the 3 images that I want to send. Je vais prendre d'autres images. I'm gonna put the flash on it this time. So yeah, you have to expect when you order from online websites that they're gonna more often than not, have items that are less than respectable, but you need to not stop bugging them about it. That's the difference between a store and online. You have to expect to spend a lot of time bugging the seller. Usually when they're when you're in store, they're going to be a little bit more careful into giving you the proper products. Okay, so this one, okay, let's try this one. Okay, so that worked. So now I've got to take simply the pictures. I'll get this done also. Seems that okay, that's 3 out of 5 working this time. Not sure if you can see the transfer here. Okay, and still 2 not working. So I'm gonna send these. That should be good enough. It's very odd the way they... I'm gonna send this and I'll send the other stuff later. Okay, so the message reads, "Greetings, please be advised that the item that was shipped is incompletely assembled in a crooked way with a rattling sound inside. It also holds with packing tape and is too dated from 2000. Have a good day." And sending. Just making sure that it has recorded what I've just said to your email, but not on the app. On the app, though, you have pictures. If you go on the website, on apps, part of the apps is good for certain things, and part of the website is better for other things, so you can't rely only on one to be as effective in those situations. Okay, so I've got at least in eBay the message, so we'll see if he sends anything soon, because I think they receive the messages at home. I highly doubt that it's actually from the place that they say they are. And don't worry, the sound that you hear is the neighbor on top, so it's not thunder that we have here. Et le son que vous entendez, c'est en haut, ça vient d'en haut, c'est pas d'ici. C'est pas du tonnerre. Faites-vous-en pas. Ok, so that's done. Fait que là, c'est ça, j'ai envoyé le message. Je vais retourner sur le texte avant. I'm gonna go back to TTS. So if you want to be recorded your text on the stream, you can go ahead. Just making sure it starts.
Welcome. Streamlabs. Asterisk bienvenue.
Okay, so this is working.
Asterisk bienvenue.
I'm gonna go get my
Another viewer. Asterisk bienvenue. Welcome. Rubber Slayer. Asterisk bienvenue.
my safety goggles, where like an interesting Russian colleague on YouTube says, well, this catchphrase in his latest videos. Okay, so not too sure if I'm gonna should probably test. I'm gonna go get my multimeter to check the voltages first. Je vais aller chercher le multimètre pour voir si les piles sont déjà mortes ou fonctionnelles. Okay, and also the reason why I know it's crooked is I've checked the other battery and I know it's definitely not assembled this way. So we'll see. I'm not sure if you see the display here on top. Yeah, you see it. Okay, so we'll check that out. Two leads. seem to give no charge at all either, so that's no good. Been touched. It's exactly the way it was unpacked. So this is the purpose of these videos. So c'est pour cette raison, right? To the trouble of packing this. Totally 0.2 volts, I think, which is 0.2 to 0.4. See this, 0.02. I'm not even sure if it would register. Unless there's a defective solder inside, even then it shouldn't register at all. It was the case, so I'm suspecting the batteries are dead from 2017. They just, I don't know, they just received a bunch of defective batteries, I guess, and they opened them to see which ones will have slight charge in them. Okay, so that's nice to know though before ordering batteries that they are probably not working. Alright, so yes, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do next, if I'm gonna see inside to see if there's a loose joint somewhere, or if I'm gonna just try to fix the top and try to charge it right away. So yeah, it's really pretty strange. Alright, so yeah, like I say, I've got my safety goggles on, especially when you work with batteries. It's always a good idea in case there are sparks or fumes coming out. It's always the eyes that are a little more sensitive. Donc, je porte les lunettes pour me protéger des piles si jamais ça fait des flamèches ou du gaz. Et c'est ça. Donc pour ceux qui sont arrivés plus en retard, ben c'est pour montrer un petit peu quand on commande des items par internet, ce qui peut arriver et comment s'en protéger un petit peu. Dans un cas comme celui-ci, au moins l'enregistrement vidéo peut être utilisé pour leur prouver que tout était fait dans l'ordre. So the video can be used to show that everything was done properly and that on their part it was probably not. Somebody at the other end was slightly inattentive or more. Okay, so yeah, really surprising. Oh, I could check that. What I'll do is I won't remove all the tape, but I'll remove just the top. So then I can check the voltage from the top. Maybe there's something there that I can see. It's really strange what they've done, unless it's on purpose. We'll see from the reply that I might get. Peut-être que c'est voulu, peut-être qu'il y a quelque chose qu'on peut faire avec ça. Mais si c'est le cas, je vais attendre la réponse du revendeur parce que c'est plutôt étonnant qu'ils envoient un produit croche qui n'est pas centré. It should be at least straight. I don't really understand why they would send something like this. I'm gonna have to cut it a little bit. Really strange.
Welcome, Jack Reacher, asterisk bienvenue. This is what the user said, whose name is Jack Reacher. Bernie, when will you take the wheelchair to the underground mall and show us pretty femmes?
Show you what? Show you pretty what? I already took the wheelchair though, and the underground mall. I think if you look in the videos, you should see a title that says underground wheelchair something. I can put the links in the video preview once I'm done with this video. At the end, there are cards that I can fill to show different videos, so I'll put the wheelchair there. If your question was a truthful one. Because I've already done the wheelchair with the underground. And also, if you're not sure what I mean by that, look up Montreal Underground and you'll see the description of what that is exactly. Okay, donc la question de Jack, c'était est-ce que je vais utiliser la chaise électrique, la chaise roulante pour le souterrain de Montréal. Ok, pretty femme, pretty women. Ok, donc il me demande de lui montrer les Montréalaises. Il semble curieux de savoir qu'est-ce que les Montréalaises ont l'air. Because I'm getting no charge at all. I'm not even sure if I'm getting residual charge from the probes themselves, so that's pretty disappointing. I'm just gonna write what I've said.
This is what the user said, whose name is Bernard. I will put those video links at the end of this one later.
So yeah, okay, so I'm getting no charge. Next step that I could do is, without fixing it, I could try to charge it. So what that will do is show us if it's connected, I guess. I'm really skeptical about the sound of this though. I think I'm gonna do that. Okay, so we'll test if charging this will bring it back to life or not. Just gonna redo the voltage test at the probe end, at the connection end. So nothing in the first two slots, first and second, first and third, first and last, second and third, second and fourth, second and last, third and fourth, third and last. So really nothing. Fourth and last, nothing. Okay, so I think that's pretty much all the connections. So there's really no current at all. I'm guessing it's dead batteries. We'll really know only when I open it later if they've even put real batteries in there, or if it's sand, because I know from certain places they sell sand batteries, which is you've got a tiny amount of charge, but in actuality the amperage of those batteries are not good at all. So I'm not sure if it's the case for this. So here are the additional gear, just in case. It's a little dusty, but still wonderful charge, and just in case. We'll put this here away from the actual and this is our charger. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go get the connection that I need for here and see if we can work this out. Alright, so this is the module that we need for charging the battery. I'm gonna take a try at it by connecting it to the lead, even though the lead is somewhat crooked. My worry is the sound. There might be a short somewhere, so we'll see. I've tested out the leads and they seem to have no voltage, so at least it should not be too bad. I might need to remove a little more of their botched tape. Je vais être obligé d'enlever un petit peu le papier pour rentrer l'unité de charge, au moins voir si je vais être capable de charger la batterie un petit peu, s'il se passe quelque chose. I don't want to mess too much with it because they might argue that that's not how they did it, but the first part of the video hopefully is good enough. Okay, so let's try this. Does not even want to stay in, which is surprising. Starting to wonder if they didn't disassemble another defective unit and it ended up breaking their battery, and they decided, what the heck, we'll send it like that and pretend that it happened. Okay, so it seems to have a good connection now. I'll try setting the charge up and see what happens. So we'll know from the colored lights if it should be here, right on around here. Put this aside. So right around here. Should see something. Okay, so this is unplugged. Usually it should turn red once we plug it. Oops, a little too much stress on the camera. So I'll put it a little more in the back. Alright, should be better like this. Could check out what it should give. So I might have a little issue with my leads. Should have tested this first. Okay, so the leads are correct. So the charge of the we're getting at the output is 29 something, and we'll see if it turns red. Nope. So no results for the charging. That means that either it's full, but we see no charge here. That's first and third of 3. First and last. Second and last. So no current at all. So there's something, probably it's not even connected inside. So now I've disconnected the charger. I'm going to remove the charging unit so that we don't damage it in case there's something short inside the battery. Donc là c'est ça, j'ai débranché le module de charge avec le chargeur pour tout de suite pour voir s'il y a quelque chose qui causerait un court-circuit à l'intérieur pour que ça brise. Ok, c'est comme je disais, je suis juste un petit peu réticent de trop jouer avec pour pas qu'ils prétendent que c'est moi qui ai fait le trouble avec les enregistrements, ça devrait pas être un gros problème. Je vais voir, je vais peut-être continuer de travailler dessus. So I'm gonna check to see if I've got messages from the reseller and see if we proceed to checking out inside of the battery. Okay, so still no reply from the reseller, so I think we'll go ahead and check what's ticking at this end, which is because I don't want to move it too much if it's a metal part. Maybe I'll have less trouble if I check it from here first. It's really surprising the sound that it makes. Okay, so we'll try to do some incisions here. Trying to see which part would be best, because I'm afraid if I try to cut inside those holes there might be a wire just behind, and metal parts with wires is never a good idea, even though the battery seems to be totally discharged. I can pry it with my fingers, my fingernails. Okay, it's open enough, I think. I'll make a little cut, and that should allow me to easily rip away the packing, the batteries shrink wrap, heat wrap. Okay. If I do this though, I'm gonna lose integrity of the cap, so I think I'm gonna wait. What can I do? I could probably open it from this side. I don't want to risk not being able to put the cap back on. Oh, this smell, chemical smell from this. I'm just gonna let it vent a little bit before I keep working on this.
Welcome. Scum Shop. Asterisk bienvenue.
Welcome back, Mr. Shop. Okay, so I see inside at least from here. I'm mostly interested to see the joints, if they are loose or... Ooh, the smell is surprising. It's like ammonia. It smells like an ammoniac from the battery. So I'm wondering if the batteries haven't gone sour for some reason. Nope. Trying not to breathe in too much of the fumes. There's definitely something loose in there on that side. I'm gonna get a little better tools to open this. Yeah, it's gonna make it. This is gonna make it at least a little more. Okay, it's loose. So the sections aren't welded together. So I'm not too sure if I should take the packing too much out. I need to find out what's ready in here. So this just came out of the casing. Okay, it was the only thing rattling in there. It's a screw. Not sure. Oh yeah, there are 4 screws missing. So I found one, I guess. That's so weird. So I found one of the screws that are missing from the top cap here, if you see. Those are empty. I'm not sure if you can see without the light. So behind that packing paper, see the empty holes? So there are 4 screws there, and none are in the proper holes. So I found one. We got one of the screws here. We're gonna tape the screw up so that we don't lose it, and we know that it's for here. So what I do usually, I just put a piece of tape wrapped together, that way you see your small pieces. I'm probably not gonna put it right away. I could probably, yeah, just a few turns to make it hold. Until I decide, until we figure how we can proceed for tonight. Okay, so mystery of the rattling sound is solved. Oh. I'm not sure what that sound is. There's another rattling. That sounds more like loose batteries. It's really surprising. And this is not the battery side, it's the wiring side. So what I'll do is I'll try to check. Okay, so if we hold it like this, batteries seem to be at the bottom here. So I'll try to open the side to check at least what kind of batteries are in there. And again, the reason I'm doing it like this is because the parts aren't, okay, so there's a lot of wires here, probably the BMS, the battery monitoring system. I see no battery yet, only electronics, but as this balances like this, they should be at the bottom. So I'm guessing there's probably a module, a BMS module on top of the batteries. so can't see through this. Okay, the other option that I could try is to leave it to float charge for a while, and maybe that will bring life back to the battery pack. Okay, so I'll try this for a few minutes, at least see if there's some reaction. Okay, so charger is up. Charging module. Is inserted.
This is what the user said, whose name is Jack Reacher. Bernie, what if you are exploring a volcano and the bad Wuhan battery gives out at the bottom of the volcano?
That would be so bad. But lucky for me, it's been extinct for about 300 million years, I think, or something like that. Maybe not that much, but 300,000 years. And actually, I probably would not explore with the electric motor, because those devices, oh, by the way, this is the just a short recap, this is the portable tripod, or not, it's not a tripod, but it's where you can set your phone to record when you don't have any tripods with you. So that's why it's sometimes my shots are low. It's because I have to set this on the floor, on the ground, but I can use it, if you see, like this. I can turn the credit size card plastic in order to have a little stand, and by putting this on the ground I can set an angle, whichever I want, because it's adjustable, to the phone, the camera's phone, the phone's camera. Donc j'utilise ce trépied là qui est transformable pour de grosseur de carte de crédit pour enregistrer de la vidéo. Fait que des fois mes prises de vue sont basses, c'est parce que c'est sur le sol pour avoir une meilleure stabilité. And I can easily bring it in the wallet. That's really a neat idea, I found. I've been using it for many years now. It's pretty good. It's not very solid, but it's solid enough to hold the phones up. And it works with almost all the sizes. You can separate the parts also to okay, so there does not seem to be any heat generated, so I'm not sure if it's not charging or if it's just not short-circuiting. We'll see a little bit later. If this light goes to red, that would be a good indication that the batteries are taking some charge eventually. If it stays green all the time, and since I'm not getting any charge, I could check out the lead right now to see if adding the charger has sent any current to socket. Okay, so first and last, no. First and second, no. So I'm even wondering if it's even connected properly. Let's try our test subject to be sure that I've got proper. Okay, the connection is wrong. Now it should work. So we're gonna test again. Should get at least some voltage. Okay, first and last, first and second. So really nothing. I'm getting nothing. Yeah, so fait pour le volcan, j'utiliserai pas le moteur électrique en temps normal parce que ça va. Okay, this is the test battery, the little 1.2 volts. So we see that it registers the charge, but in the leads there's nothing happening. So I'm guessing it's badly connected. C'est ça, donc pour des raisons de fonctionnalité, les piles électriques sont pas excellentes pour monter des côtes. So basically the electric vehicles are not really suited for going up hills. It's the worst enemy of range for the batteries. So that's why the other device I use is a non-electric one. When I want to explore the volcano sites, I use public transport with the non-electrical either wheelchair or scooter, but it's at the moment I've used the scooter. I've brought the electric scooter up the hill to test it out in the snow mostly, and the snow was a bit too slippery, and also my technique might not have been perfect, so I might retry the volcano, well, not the volcano, but actually any part with some amount of snow later during the season to see if my technique is better. Donc la façon que j'utilisais le kick scooter au début, la patinette n'était pas parfaite. Je me suis rendu compte qu'il y avait une technique meilleure pour dans la neige. Fait que c'est ça, donc je vais réessayer bientôt de faire fonctionner avec le moteur électrique. Puis sinon, ça va être plus celle qui n'a pas de moteur que je vais utiliser pour les endroits où il y a des côtes. Monter les côtes avec le transport public et descendre probablement avec les skis. So I would use the skis to go down the hill, down the volcano, and I would go back up with public transport. So we'll see about that. That was the idea behind the second type of kick scooter, to not have to use the engine, the electric motor, because it's really not efficient when you climb up hills. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the charge on for at least 20 minutes, I guess, 15-20 minutes. We'll check later on if everything's okay. I'm wearing my safety glasses to be sure to avoid nasty results if anything goes wrong. And we'll check to see if the light goes red. Light should go red if the batteries start to receive a charge, but it's really looking grim, especially since it's a 2017 battery pack. So it should, normally batteries, lithium batteries, from what I know or what I learned, are.
This is what the user said, whose name is Jack Reacher, ski wheelchair.
Yeah, that would be funny, but maybe in the next life or something like that. But for the moment, I'm gonna stick with the skiing kick scooters, and the wheelchair will most likely be for inside or in the snow because the wheels are bigger. So that would be better if I could put some motor on the wheelchair that would work in the snow, just to pull enough so that the wheels would be either in front or the front wheels a little bit lifted so that way they won't snag on snow amounts in front. So we'll see about that. Basically, what I see is that it's very efficient. Well, it's pretty efficient to assist you in using the natural way, which is either pedaling, kicking, or using your hands on the wheelchair. That's great with a battery because it's helping you out for the hard parts, but it doesn't have as much of benefits when you use it on long terms, on long distances. Of course, you can, unless you buy something that's specifically made for doing long distances, like a Model S or Model X or Model Y or Model 3. But even those are not, I'm pretty sure on the long term, probably won't be the best in hilly places. The countries that have a lot of hills probably will see more issues with the battery packs than the urban area. So electric cars in very leveled cities are probably the best places for like taxi services or things like that. It should be very good. But until we get the latest batteries that are actually being made at the moment, they're probably trying to sell out the old technology before they start really selling the new one, the nano carbon batteries. And hydrogen batteries also were speculated. Some exist. They are a bit more volatile and harder to manage, so that's probably why they are not as popular right now. I really expected hydrogen to be the main source of power, so I'm guessing it is, but they want to sell out their stock of old stuff for budget reasons. So we'll have to wait and see. Best way would be to make your own. Of course, this is harder because you're not you don't have the testing equipment. So, je pensais que les piles seraient plus hydrogène présentement, mais je pense que c'est une question de coût. Les vendeurs veulent nous passer le vieille technologie avant de se mettre à une technologie, même si la technologie nouvelle est moins chère, moins dispendieuse que celle qui existe présentement. So I even believe the technology that exists now is less expensive than making those batteries, but it's always the same issue. You've got people who invent stuff, and you've got people who make money out of the inventions, and those are usually not non-compatible ideas, because I would say if you make something available to people, they have more time to do something better with their free time. Of course, if there's always the black sheeps in the flock, but there are ways to monitor that, and that's why I'm very glad to have live videos now really available. Avec les vidéos en direct, on peut voir ce que les gens font, si ça a un intérêt, si ça peut avoir un but à long terme. C'est certain que là, c'est toujours subjectif un peu, mais dans ce temps-là, c'est de faire en sorte que les gens soient moins axés sur l'argent puis un petit peu plus sur le résultat. So yeah, basically we need to base ourselves more on results and a little less on luxury. Like a lot of people prefer having a good looking car than a good working one, which is sad.
This is what the user said, whose name is Jack Reacher. Would you trust a Wuhan hydrogen wheelchair?
Well, I'm not sure I would trust a wheelchair with new technologies at first. I would much rather use something like a scooter or a bicycle, because you can ditch it a lot easier than when you're sitting on it, because if something goes wrong and you're directly sitting on your source, it's a little more problematic. If this, for instance, this module, the battery pack goes in front, so if I see smoke, if I see, if it feels hot, if I feel anything is wrong, I can let go and just move away. But on a wheelchair, until you figure out there's a problem, you might receive the problem from under your position. So that's why I'm not too fond of fully electric vehicles yet, until they've proven that they are very trustworthy. But I believe it's the next generation batteries. These batteries at the moment are great with hybrids. I would go with a hybrid vehicle, and that way you have less batteries, you rely on your motor a little more. So it's a trade-off until they make, I believe, the nanotechnology batteries will be somewhat much better. Donc j'attends surtout les piles avec de la nanotechnologie dedans, moins dispendieux, plus efficace, plus léger, probablement moins dangereux aussi, un petit peu moins avec des grosses quantités comme ça. For instance, these packs are really small, so that's a lot less. I think this is absolutely legal in airplanes. So this is the amount that you're allowed to bring in your baggage on airplanes. I think 2 of these. More than that, you would have to do special paperwork, I think, and there's even a limit to the quantity of energy you can bring, because it's more likely to cause issues than other technologies. So we'll see. Okay, so it's still charging at the moment. I'm gonna go check if I've received message. Je vais aller voir s'il y a des messages qui sont arrivés. So call me if you see it turning red. That should be a good sign. I'll be right back. Alright, so still no messages from the reseller. Oops. Sorry, I think the TTS turned off. So I'm not sure if you said something. Oh no, it seems to be still working. Yeah, so I've sent the message with the 3 pictures. Still no reply. I'm pretty sure he won't reply before tomorrow. We'll see what kind of an answer he gives me. It's rather surprising to receive a product like this. It's really obvious that they knew that this was totally not properly assembled, at least the person who packed it, so I'm not sure who that was. Yeah, still not feeling any sort of heat. Not even sure if it's charging or not. I might disassemble it completely if I don't get an answer tomorrow. I'm hesitant on doing so because of these parts, this part and the end, because the caps are held in place by the pressure of the tape, which is also surprising. So the battery is really not the best. To tell you the truth, I would much rather be able to order batteries from Tesla if they would make specialized battery packs instead of having second-hand sellers do cheap ones. You don't know exactly what cells are in there. We're probably going to find out eventually soon. At least LG or Panasonic, from what I heard, are the recommended ones. They cost a little more, but they last a lot longer. And the Teslas, of course. I think it's those batteries are specifically, from the research I've done, I thought they were normal batteries with their technology for cooling, but last I saw was batteries that have a cap added to them with a special chip that controls the way the battery discharge, so they have more batteries, less power per battery, so that makes the life expectancy longer. Donc si c'était possible, j'aimerais beaucoup pouvoir commander un pack de chez Tesla. Bien sûr, ça serait pas mal plus dispendieux, mais selon la qualité et les recherches que j'ai faites, ça dure aussi beaucoup plus longtemps, beaucoup plus efficace. My main goal is not charging it fast. I don't mind if it takes 8 hours to charge. My goal is to have a longer range. Of course, it's the range that really matters to me, and longer life expectancy of the batteries. So we'll see what kind they put first, because anyways, if they're dead, it won't change much. And maybe find a way to replace them. What bothers me, like I said, is once you remove the pack, from what I see, those sections come loose, so you need to have some way to make it fit perfectly if you reassemble it for it to fit. So we'll see if I get an answer within a few days. Fait que je vais voir s'il y a une réponse d'ici quelques jours. So still waiting for this light to turn red, ideally, which would mean that the batteries are slowly coming back to life, slightly coming back to life, but I'm not expecting too much, especially if they've been discharged for 3 years. There's probably really no hopes in getting any kind of longevity out of them. And yeah, fait que c'est ça. Donc comme j'expliquais, c'est on s'en attend un peu quand on commande des choses de l'étranger qu'on voit pas nécessairement d'avance. Souvent on se fait jouer un petit peu les tours. C'est pour ça qu'on fait des enregistrements d'ouverture pour leur montrer, ou au moins montrer aux vendeurs intermédiaires qu'est-ce qui s'est passé, qu'ils puissent prendre une décision, puis qu'on puisse montrer exactement d'où provient le litige. Donc vraiment, faut pas être pressé. When you order something from the internet, you must expect delays of at least twice, even more, before you get the product you actually could expect from a local store. So this, if they've got any questions or if they imply anything, you can show them actually what happened and what you've done, if it was, done properly, or if it, if it wasn't from the beginning. Fait que donc c'est ça. Depuis le début, on peut montrer qu'il y a quelque chose qui fonctionne pas. Here you see the bend. It should be straight up, but this neck is twisted from shipping and wiring is coming out. So obviously it was not assembled properly. Et c'est ça. Donc pas grand chose qu'on peut faire à part de ça. I think the other the beautiful thing about this though is I would probably have never been able to get these items locally for different reasons. One of them might be that some items, even though they might be good, are not packaged. Welcome to the channel, Cynical. So yeah, the items sometimes that you order are working somewhat properly, but they would never sell that in our countries because the packaging is not perfect, or the product sometimes just has something loose in them that you can fix yourself, so that you get them very cheaply. So you have to expect that, but you get more out of the internet for less. Sometimes you get duds like this one from what I can see, but I mean, that's to be expected. You can't expect it to be too fast. You have to work more to get the item, get informed. Once you get a problem or something that's not as advertised, you get back to them, you wait for their reply. If it's too long for their replies, then you contact the middleman, which is often the big stores like Amazon, eBay, or Walmart, and you submit your queries to them. Most of the time, I'd say that you can get away with showing basic proof. But you see, that's where the video comes in. Then I give them, I'm going to give the link to the middleman, tell them this is what happened, look at it. You see, at this time when I opened the bag, it was like that, and you can see that I didn't shake it at the beginning. So that's the reason, the main reason why we do unboxings. I believe it started probably like this. Somebody said, well, I'm gonna do a personal unboxing to prove if there's anything wrong, and eventually people started posting them. I'm posting them to test the equipment. I'm practicing the video shots, lighting, sound. For instance, at the moment I still didn't work out how to put the camera on the selfie camera. I'm not sure why it doesn't work, but it seems to work with the outside camera, the back plate camera. So yeah, for the claims, like I said, it always can happen. It would most surely happen if you have no video proof. They're probably going to claim that, it probably is something you did, we're going to maybe refund a small amount, or something like that, because it could be you and things like that. But with the video proof, normally you can argue that this is what happened really, and usually I'm expecting that you won't get too much issues. Most of the time, what I've noticed and what I've probably heard the most is that the sellers would then disappear. They would either go bankrupt or pretend they don't exist anymore, so that they don't have to worry about the claims. But since there's a middleman, you claim it to them and say, well, hey, can you contact the seller? He doesn't reply anymore. And from experience and the messages I've seen, if they don't get a reply within a normal amount of time, you usually get away with a good compensation. But that always is depending. Of course, I've got my preferences. I'm gonna make probably recommendations from my experience later on, because I don't want to be too expeditive on the experiences I've had. But some companies are better than others. Some services are clearly made to discourage you, so that's why I'm telling you, if you go into something like this, you have to expect to put time and effort into doing small details that seem a little boring, like recording these things, working on the devices, taking notes, sending them messages constantly so that the middleman is aware that you're doing the things properly, and hopefully get some reasonable compensation. The issue here is always that you will never get the true amount of time and effort that you spend on something, because they're not really interested in that, and it's always a question. So that's why I'm calling this mostly a pastime more than something very serious, because instead of going out and playing or visiting places or things like that, I try out products and take time to make reviews and write notes and contact the seller. So basically that's that's part of the game of the internet. You pay less usually, so you get more, but in the end you put also more into it. So is it worth it? It depends on your situation. If you're more the type that wants something as perfect as possible, I suggest you go with the normal shops, so that they charge you more, but they take most of the work out. Even if you get a lemon, for instance, in a car, you need to take some time to bring back the car for having it serviced and everything. So that's not an assured warranty that you're gonna get the perfect item, but at least you get hands-on with the seller. On the internet you don't have that, so you need video proof, which is better than just pictures. Pictures are easily faked, so that's not as efficient to prove your case, but it's easier to do than having to go on site all the time with your car, for instance. And from what I heard, usually it's very hard to exchange your car. If you buy a car, for instance, their responsibility is to work on it, so you're still gonna lose your car. But you can argue with the seller directly face to face, whereas here you need to write papers, contact the different people in between, and if you don't get proper help from the most the most logical place, you go to another place to try to figure out how you can fix that, and eventually get to a sort of a resolution. C'est ça, comme j'ai expliqué en anglais. La question,
This is what the user said, whose name is Jack Reacher. Is this battery strong enough to power your wheelchair should Sunny decide to sit on your lap to explore a volcano?
this one, yeah, this one actually would easily pull, because for instance, this is 4 times the strength of the item I used for the wheelchair when I'm alone. So actually the wheelchair works with me on it, and the other device is, let me see, exactly 4 times less powerful than this. So the battery pack is 4 times less powerful, and it carries me in the wheelchair inside, or in the garages where there's not too many obstacles. So that's fine. And this one is 4 times the strength, not the range though, not supposed to be. I haven't finished all the testings, but the power of this is 4 times the wheelchair. So if you roughly consider that 2-person is, twice the effort, this is 4 times the capability. Of course, in practicality, it's probably a little bit less, but you have a margin of error with that, with 4 times, so that should be fine. I know it's a kind of a joke that you're saying, but in fact, this should be easily capable, because if you watch the videos I've made of it, you can hear the engine when I ramp it up. It does speed up pretty well, pretty fast on hard terrain, on bumps, on small inclines, on snow, also on gravel, and even on dirt. I went into dirt roads to test it out because it was packed dirt, and it's the rating for the protection is enough to go on certain types of terrain. So, and even in those hard places, it worked perfectly great. So the engine is fine. As far as strength is in question, the battery, if they were proper batteries, would be obviously fine. They worked for testing, but the amount of time they work is inefficient, because I believe, not the specifications, but the company of the batteries, we'll see later what if it's a generic brand, or even if there's sand, because I've heard in some battery manufacturing places they replace most of the internal of the batteries with sand to have the weight, but in fact the battery is like 10 times less power in it. So we'll check that out, like I said, probably in a few days, to see inside if it's absolutely a hoax or a scam or whatever, or if it's just poorly made, or maybe a defect. Sometimes it's something as simple as a weld inside that was loose, and they couldn't fix it, so they shipped the device, believing that it's cheaper for them not to put resources into fixing a faulty weld. So if I can check if it's a weld issue, I probably can do a what we call a MacGyver fix temporarily to test it out, and if that's the problem, I can take it to a shop, have it welded, depending on the repair cost. Always argue with the seller about it. Okay, so yeah, I think that should be fine. Donc c'est ça, ce qu'il me demandait, c'est pour les retours, si j'ai pas peur que le vendeur mentionne que je l'ai brassé, ça veut dire qu'il l'a brisé, mais comme j'expliquais dans l'enregistrement, c'est pour ça que je l'ai fait. C'est pour prouver tout ce qui s'est passé avant, donc ils peuvent voir que c'est en sortant directement que c'était comme ça. Si eux autres ils sont pas prêts à prendre des démarches dans les temps voulus, on peut envoyer les enregistrements à l'intermédiaire, à celui qui est entre les deux, puis lui il peut décider de prendre une résolution entre les deux. Si lui non plus fonctionne pas, on peut prendre d'autres mesures avec la vidéo. C'est beaucoup plus efficace maintenant. Et il demandait aussi si la pile serait assez forte pour apporter 2 personnes au lieu de une, si je décidais de l'utiliser sur la chaise électrique, la chaise mobile. Comme j'expliquais, le moteur qui est utilisé sur la chaise présentement est 4 fois moins fort, moins puissant que celui-là. Et les piles aussi sont 4 fois moins de capacité au niveau de la puissance du wattage par heure. Donc c'est suffisant pour, à mon avis, pour tirer 2 personnes sans inconvénient. Donc probablement pas 4, mais au moins 2. Et au niveau de la vitesse, ça devrait être parfait. Donc moi, c'est jusqu'à date mes tentatives, mes expériences et tout ça. C'est l'idéal comme puissance pour pas exagérer. mais en même temps être assez puissant pour avoir une marge de manœuvre. Donc, quand on est seul, c'est suffisant pour les accélérations, la vitesse. Si on est plusieurs, si on était plusieurs, à ce moment-là, ça serait suffisant pour quelque chose de raisonnable. C'est sûr que là, on perdrait un petit peu de performance sur la distance, sur la rapidité et sur l'accélération. But it would be sufficient, of course. Okay, so still green, so that's not a good sign. Since it's the beginning of the charge, it hasn't charged at all. I know that sometimes some batteries require a few attempts to revive them once they've been dead. I've had cars that had batteries run down because I forgot my lights on or things like that. And lucky for me, charging it very slowly for a few amount of time and then charging it properly, trying it out, working it out, having it discharge and recharge. They worked like many years. I get a double the lifetime that they said on my new original batteries. I used to buy AC Delco batteries, which I found were the best brand of batteries, and with those batteries, sometimes even when they went dead, they would revive after a few trickle charge of them, and they would last. Like I said, I used to keep my batteries 5-6 years usually, my car batteries, even though they say that usually it's 3 years that they expect the batteries to work for properly. So that was pretty good. And also, yeah, okay, for your next part of the, not sarcasm, but almost, for the exploration of the volcano, like I said, of course, I know there's nothing that would be efficient without public service or without normal vehicles that are more expensive, of course, because it's way too steep for electrical devices. You can, of course, what I could do is bring it, walk up the stairs with this in hand, and from the top use it there, and also going down, that would be fine. So it's partly sarcastic what you said, but it's actually true that it could be possible. And for two people, of course, going down with two people, there's no problem. I mean, it's highly doable. I could add some BMX stunt pegs at the back, and it would make it safe to do. But of course, legally, you would have to be off the roads. Even off the roads, you have to be careful. It's not allowed per se if you're two people on a kick scooter. It's only one person, and the wheelchair, it's the same issue. It's made for one person, so legally it would not be acceptable. But if like anything, if it's a sport or if you're playing as a pastime, then it would highly be possible to explore the volcano with a chair with two people in it. The way you do it is, of course, you walk up. On the wheelchair, I am looking to put a kick scooter deck either in front or at the back, so that would be the second place for somebody. Going downhill wouldn't be a problem, of course, because it's perfectly made for that. And going on flat surfaces with the engine, it would most likely work fine with this battery, not with the original one that I've tested. The one I've tested is great for one person, so on flat.
This is what the user said, whose name is Jack Reacher. If Sunny wanted to sit on your lap and hold Navi, would this battery be powerful enough?
Well, like I said, it's supposed to be good for, I expect 4, it would have a lot of problems. So 3, especially if it's an animal, something a lot lighter than a person, should be fine. I'm expecting we could even go with the cat. So two people, a dog and a cat should be fine. wouldn't go as fast as a car, but it would be, I would say, easily it would do running speed with four living beings on it. But to be safe, of course, recommendation is one. That's the safe setup. Two people, a little bit risky, so that would be for pastimes or sport or just having fun. And for four living beings, it would be in desperate times, like escaping some sort of apocalyptic scenario. So you probably could, in exceptional situation, use that to bring two people and two pets. But of course, that's highly speculative. Those tests are only for fun. If you check my other channel, which is on YouTube under the user simcore999, you see the zombie apocalyptic title, which I put all my previews on. This channel is exactly meant for that. Some hypothetical situations where you could use some type of vehicles like this to get you out of a bind. Of course, in those cases, laws are pretty much over. You can do pretty much what you can to survive. So in this situation, I would say yes, it most likely would be possible to use it with two people, a big animal, and probably a small animal as well, which would be the plan that I got to try, which is to add a deck for using it as some sort of a scooter in the snow for one person.
What the user said, whose name is Jack Reacher. In an apocalyptic scenario, could this wheelchair with you, Sunny, and Navi outrun zombies?
Well, again, that depends. If you, I'm really talking just for fun here, but if you take my opinion on what a zombie would be, which is a corpse that is not very coordinated and pretty much low on energy, that means that they would walk at a snail's pace, not the latest movies that we see them running and jumping on people and things like that. Obviously, in my scenario, which is zombies are either people highly on substances, could be chemicals, could be a parasite or something like that. They wouldn't be able to go faster than 2-3 miles per hour. With this, we should be able to at least go 10 miles per hour with 4 living beings on it. So yes, that would be about 3 to 4 times faster than those beings. And if I was alone, or 2 people maybe, could reach 20 miles per hour. So at 20 miles per hour, even somebody running fast would have somewhat of a hard time catching up. Of course, that's all a speculative scenario. Ideally, it's to have the kind of scenario that allows you to use some simple way to have energy for a long time. And there are many ways to do that that we'll explore later on the other channel. This channel is mostly based on facts here that we've got, so items that exist and situations that exist. But if you need to outrun the type of zombies that I think exists, a brisk walking pace should be enough. Normally we walk at 4 or 5 miles per hour, a good walk, so you'd outrun most, if not all, the type of zombies that I imagine could exist. The other types are if it's just unlawful situation, people running after you, then you'd need to use the faster modes, which is 20 miles per hour. In that case, they could still catch you if you run into problems, but if you're in a flat place, they most likely would run out of breath before catching you up. There was something that I think, let me see. Yeah, the other thing that you're probably not thinking about is that any kind of electrical power or any kind of power source could be replaced by running dogs or running animals that you could, because if you would put, I think they call it a trainer or something like that, a dog, it's a dog leash that is specifically made for things like kick scooters or even bicycles, I think, and most likely wheelchairs. So it's like a hook that prevents the animal from being too much stressed by the leash, but it can pull you away, and they usually, so you help them out to start, and once you're going, it's just a question of them putting a little bit of energy more than they would use to if they were alone, and you go at their running speed. So that's the other scenario. If you think that you might run out of resources eventually, if you've got a device like that has wheels on him, you can have your pet pull you.
Welcome.
and
Guest Army. Asterisk bienvenue.
and
This
you'd
is
go
what the
fast
user
enough.
said, whose name is Guest Army. Dog trainers like tennis shoes.
I'm not sure what that means. Ok, fait que là, je suis pas sûr de ces questions. La première question, I'm just gonna translate for those people who will watch in French. La première question, c'était s'il y avait un scénario d'apocalypse, comme avec des zombies, tout ça, est-ce que ça serait assez vite? Comme j'expliquais, les zombies sont plus, à mon avis, si c'était des zombies que je crois qui peuvent être possibles, ça courrait à une vitesse peut-être de 3-4
This is what the
km.
user said, whose name is Jack Reacher. How many sled dogs required to pull you, Suni, and Navi to outrun a zombie?
4. I'm gonna have to end this now, I think. So I thank you for watching. Very nice of you to try out the free text-to-speech, and hope you come back later. Please subscribe if you want to have any details. Thanks again. Je vous remercie d'être présent. On se reprend la prochaine fois avec des lunettes de sécurité. À la prochaine. Bye bye.